Rumble, Renekton, Ezreal, as we have seen, sort of relegated to the red side bans. And they're starting off with that as we jump into the draft. The tree removed from Peanut. I hear his win rate is relatively high.
Yep, absolutely absurd. And it also works effectively you deny those picks away from Peanut. He's like, well, Maokai's gone, Zyra's gone. I guess I have to play Shyvana. Maybe set a trap in that regard. We'll see how it goes, though. Sejuani banned away in this situation. Renekton still open as something we've seen prioritized pretty heavily on that first pick.
We've also seen the Nidalee be an answer to this pick that Mihail is hovering.
Yeah.
The Ivern going to be picked up, though, and this is something that Life Esports are actually outspoken about. They were like, well, we didn't really know how the Ivern matchup was going to go with the Shyvana, as the crowd goes wild or they go worried. I'm not entirely sure which one it was, as Doran's hovering a few things. We'll just have to see what they are going to land on, as the blind pick Gnar does seem to be something that a lot of teams are heading towards.
Yeah, they'll pick the Shyvana second, obviously,
Oh,
just get more crowd hype here. They have to go for the Zeri in this situation. Good pick for Vipe, also denying it away from Jiu. A lot of carry potential on that.
Peanut's just having a good time.
He's having the best time. The Vi as well, it does mean that if we see something like the Kai'Sa come through, we've seen often picked into the Zeri.
Fans losing their mind, like, they didn't pick Shyvana!
They're cheering for the Vi. Yeah, I guess a lot of the Korean fans really felt a certain way about those games the other day. But the Vi, obviously, you can shut down any potential picks coming out from Jiwoo if he does opt to go for something like the Kai'Sa into the Zeri. Looks like Fisher, they are just going to take the Corki. He's been pretty strong. I'd say that's probably been his best pick so far. But he's definitely got comfortable on those 80 carry mids. And now you could opt to go for a top laner here for Mihail, or you could opt to match the 80 carries. Basically depends whether you feel comfortable letting 80 carry go the next rotation, having those banned out, or if you're like, look, we really want Gnar, we really want Renekton here and now. And it looks like Jiwoo feels comfortable, which makes sense. Definitely a player who has a wider pool than most when it comes to bot lane picks.
Yeah, very true. And also they can pick up their bottom lane together, maybe answer one of the options there as the Akali, a consideration here for Zeka. I hear he's pretty good, but instead it is going to be the Kennen to answer the Gnar on the top side of the map. We have seen that this matchup does work in favor of the Kennen. We saw yesterday Keen pull out the AD Kennen into the Gnar. See whether we do get something like that from Doran. I know that Doran does like to experiment there on the top side of the map. This time around, he's actually allowed to build a static Shiv. Won't need to pause the game when the static Shiv doesn't work, when he doesn't build it.
Yeah, I also feel like the Kennen allows Life Esports to be a bit more greedy in the bot lane. You know that they want to take exhaust, so you don't have to deal with Ignite, less kill pressure. Means that if you wanted to, you could even commit to something like a Lulu to pair with Zeri. That being said, with it being Delight, it's probably going to be Rel, and they are focusing the bans towards those engaged sports. They've banned away the Rakan. You could look to ban away mids here. The Lucian, I think, would be a good ban.
Yeah, the Alistair as well has been something that Delight only just lost on.
Yeah, I think I would probably ban Rel over Alistair here from Delight. Alistair can be a bit more matchup dependent, but I think Lucian is the ban that stands out to me. They actually banned the Lulu, so they're a little bit concerned about that coming out if they committed to a lane that wasn't able to pressure enough, and obviously they're not going to have that Ignite in this situation. So now, presumably this is a mid lane pick for Life Esports.
I want to see Zeka go back to his Ahri. That's what I want to see. He debuted in the LCK on that champion, and Ahri Vi is just really strong. And I'd like to see it.
Yeah,
and so they're going to listen to me.
This is the trio that BNK FearX have really been leaning on. This Ahri, Vi, Zeri trio that they're all piecing together here. And looking on the side of Nongshim, toying with the idea of the Kai'Sa. They have a decent amount of AD on the top side.
The Ivan Ziggs. It has been something we've seen find success in the past, but the Kai'Sa will be the one locked in. A cow could go along with it, but they could also take the Nautilus here as the answer to the Zeri. Bit of that targeted CC.
Yeah, looks like they're leaning towards the Alistair. You definitely want an engage support with the Kai'Sa. And they will lock that in, especially with an Ivan jungle. You really are needing engage from your support, so they'll secure that one. And here, I mean, I feel like they don't specifically need engage, but with it being Delight, I think they probably just take the Rel.
Yeah, I think. I mean, it's Delight. He's obviously going to want to go that direction. unless it's the Poppy.
Okay.
Okay, wait, hang on. Theoretically a flex. If we do think that Kennen can potentially be support, much like it used to in the past.
I don't think that's a worthy trade. If
I saw Kuro today. He was actually here, and it reminded me of the Rocks Tigers days, and it just makes me think of Gorilla playing support Kennen. It's just one of those things, you know?
Yeah, I think they'll probably stick with this. You know, it's a good matchup for Duran. The Poppy does a pretty good job of neutralizing the Alistair. Can do a decent job against Kai'Sa as well, but also just we've seen so much value from the ultimates from Poppy. I think really, you know, sometimes it can be difficult having that weight on your jungler, right? If Poppy has to be in the forefront, you can be focused down, but if it's on your support, you can kind of just be an ult bot and get tons of value. You know, you don't have to be leading the charge, you don't have to be trying to get in on smites. You can just hang around with your ultimate, and when the jungler is on an objective, you can be the one zoning with that ult and forcing the enemy jungler away. So pretty powerful to have that locked in the support role, and obviously a matchup that Delight feels comfortable with. And honestly, I feel like there are aspects of Nongshim's comp that's solid. You know, the mid lane matchup I think is going to be good for them. But I kind of like the composition that HLE Esports has better. I think this triple dive trio that we've seen in the mid jungle and AD carry just works so well together. And it's so easy to execute. And I think when your confidence has been shaken a bit against KT, this is just what you need.
Yep, this is the right way to get it done. I think the Ivan-ness of the Nongshim composition could be a little bit higher as well. I mean, Kai'Sa doesn't seem like the champion to really execute on it. See how it goes. Let's jump into the Rift for game number 1. And that was Lee Chaeyoung from Fromis9, K-pop idol, here to wish HLE Esports some support. Pretty cool that we have K-pop stars here at LOL Park, you know, just on the daily.
Calling in the big guns after the KT loss.
Yeah, and the tanks often call in the big guns, so it does make some sense given HLE Esports and sort of the vibe that they have. So
talking about big guns does just make me think of when they had Grizzly.
He did have big guns. I actually started going to the gym because, you know, what was he, like 300 kilos for like the bench, deadlift and squat?
Yeah, the big 3. Yeah,
I'm not quite there yet.
Yeah, not quite. Working on it.
Yeah, definitely working on it because he's like half my age, and that's tough for my ego. And I'm not quite there yet, but we will get there. All right, I'll keep you updated. Okay, Orcs?
Yeah, weekly check-in I think is going to be important.
Yep.
Keep on top of that.
I imagine. Wait, hang on. Jisun just updated me, and I didn't quite hear it. Zeka's big 3 is also below 200, so I'm not the only one that's struggling. Me and Zeka are both going to be hitting the gym a lot. Yeah, so Grizzly, when he was in 11th grade, was at 350 kilos. Like, what? That is absurd!
Yeah, I don't think you're competing with that.
No, that's...
You can compete with Zeka. You know, Grizzly's in his own tier.
Yeah.
The Olympics is going on, so I'm sure there's some athletes there that...
Yeah, I'm sure Grizzly's there.
That's why he's not playing right now.
Oh, my goodness. Well, he was playing. He was in Challenge earlier on, so obviously find some time to hit the gym. As well. I like that we're talking.
High ping, yeah.
I like that we're talking about Grizzly. He's not even in the game, but it's okay, everyone. Not a whole lot's happening right now. Delight is going to go for a little bit of a heroic charge. Not too much else is going to happen. Still be making friends with the forest. Peanut not making friends with the forest. He's punching it.
A little bit of a different approach there. But yeah, see Delight nearly getting this done on a Jiwoo. Just made a start out on it, and obviously a lot of damage comes from it. But I think ultimately, Nongshim going to be playing a bit more defensive in the bot lane. Having Cleanse and Ghost versus Ignite Barrier doesn't really put you in a good spot when it comes to these early fights. And that is kind of the summon attacks with a Kennen on the other side. And it is the Airy Kennen. Obviously, all Kennen start Doran's Blade, but likely going to see the AP build, especially given composition from HLE Esports. You have the Ahri, but the Ahri is not like a huge AP source, so... Yep.
I would have liked it if it had been the other one, but here's a flash pulverize as Delight's going to flash, just respecting the headbutt, understanding that Sylvie could be in the area. Viper going to dash out of the way of the root caller, and so he is going to be safe. But still, Flashes down for both supports here. Guga has paid the Kennen tax. Rightly so as well, given the fact that it is the AP variety of the Kennen. So the exhaust has been picked up by the Alistar, but he's also Hex Flashing.
Yeah, but honestly, I feel like Poppy, beating that early flash can be so freeing.
I know, it's fantastic. You now get access to the best summoner spell in the game.
Just stand in the brush, channel the Hex Flash, go for the stun. Oh, Mihail, you're in trouble.
He is in a little bit of trouble. That is not a massive Narbar right now, and he's also going to be now away from the turret. Peanut's going to easily punch him, much like he was doing in the jungle, and that is going to be first blood. Pretty elementary here by Homolife Esports, starting off on the right foot.
Not a ton you can really do in that situation. Doran followed him with the E just to get that first proc of the passive so he could set up the stun. And once you're stunned, what are you supposed to do? Peanut lands the Q. No real counterplay there. Good setup from Homolife Esports, getting some early momentum on this top side.
Yeah, really starting to look good. Viper throwing an auto through there. But let's have a look at the replay once again, see whether there's anything else that Mihail could do, but I really don't think there was.
Yeah, it was an early flash, but I just don't think there's anything you can really do. You know, it's a trade of flashes. Maybe you could have saved flash and then neither of them use it, but I think the takeaway was there wasn't really a way you can outplay when you're in mini-Gnar, when Kennen can easily get that stun on you, and Peanut just follow up. Yeah.
Maybe stay nearer to the turret so that you can sort of try and fight it out, but I think it was too much of a big deal. Okay, there's a slow onto Sylvie. He's going to have to flash. Heroic Charge, not really doing too much, but the Ignite is already down. Exhaust onto Delight here as Fish is going to turn up, and that is the answering kill to go over to Jiwo on the bottom side. Just an overextension there from Homolife Esports.
Yeah, Delight getting a little bit greedy. You know, you could see Homolife Esports were kind of happy with the flash and backing off. Delight was looking for more, burns the Ignite, but you know, this is the thing with this Corki. You're going to have lane pressure over an Ahri. You're going to be able to move first, especially before the Ahri hits 6. And so as a result, Fisher gets there and can just help clean up that kill, which ends up going over to Jiwoo. Always good.
Yeah.
When you get kills on Jiwoo for Nongshim. I feel like that's one of the checkboxes they're trying to tick when it comes to winning games.
You can see now for an opportunity onto Fisher here as we turn off the vision. Delight Hex flashing over. There's a Heroic Charge in. Charm going to miss. But Orbit Deception does fly through. It's a decent health trade. But it's not going to be getting any kills nor a flash out of Fisher here.
And Fisher evading the gank and getting Zeka's ult out of it. Didn't even burn his own flash. The confidence there to dodge the charm paying off. And Fisher pretty happy with how that panned out. Now Delight has to kind of stay around, help Zeka get the crash.
Sylvie just going to make friends with the Gromp. This is what started all of this off. And did seem like Homolife Esports did have the inside track, but then the fact that the Corki could roam first, just the big difference maker.
And you can see Peanut started to walk back when Delight had committed more. And I think maybe a little bit of miscommunication there. Delight looking to try and find something that just wasn't there.
Still, not end of the world or anything like that. You can see that Homolife Esports still hold a little bit of a gold advantage, largely due to the fact that Doran is kind of crushing the top lane. Does have some Sork Shoes now completed. And I think that once they really settle into this mid-game, that's when the Vi Ahri can really start getting some work done. And of course, Zeka isn't too far behind or anything like that. Just put the ultimate on cooldown, but otherwise is going to be within touching distance of the CS of this Corki. So no harm, no foul.
I think in these situations, if you end up a little bit behind in gold compared to the Corki, that's fine. And I just think the Vi Ahri is such a powerful combo.
Peanut is going to get walloped here and thrown into the wall. Mihail does then go back to mini-Gnar, which can be a little bit more annoying. Peanut eats some honey fruit, though. He'll be all okay. Even goes back to finish it. As now Mihail is going to get Slicingly Maelstrom. Cease and Desist comes in, and yes, he's going to stop. Doran is going to pick up another kill for Homolife Esports. That is one for him, one for Peanut, and they are crushing this top side of the map.
You know, initially it looks okay because Mihail burns Peanut's health bar so low. It's like, okay, how are they supposed to dive if Peanut's so low? Maybe he's just negated that. But the problem is, Doran finds a great angle to hit him before he reaches the turret, and he ends up being without protection from it, and a much easier to dive to pull off as a result. So Mihail tries to make a sort of positive, proactive play to defend himself, and it ends up backfiring. That's kind of the takeaway I see here. He knows that the dive threat's coming in, so he's like, okay, if Peanut is low, what can they do?
Yeah.
But then Doran gets a wave push in, and he just doesn't reach turret in time. If he'd gotten back to the turret, it might have been a harder dive to pull off. Maybe they would have lost someone in it, but yeah. You see Peanut basically took 2 tower hits, and that's all that was taken there. So just, you know, the idea, it makes sense for Mihail, but the execution ends up making things easier
Yeah.
on Life Esports.
It also seemed like the hop was still on cooldown as well, which is not so good. Otherwise, could have potentially made it to that turret, but have to use a few cooldowns if you do want to try and get your Vi out of the jungle. Sylvie just continues to make some friends, get them towards this mid-game where they could have some control. Might need to try and put the fire out here on this top side as Doran continues to have a whole lot of control. Hextech Cookie now completed as well. And so he's well on the way to item number 1. Fisher now moving, cheating towards the top side.
Mahal just doesn't really have anything.
Yeah.
Just boots, Ruby Crystal, no Magic Mantle. Definitely doesn't feel good.
No, it doesn't look like it's building towards anything at this point.
Yeah, I mean, you assume he's going Merc Treads at some point, and then pulling from the rest. Definitely a Merc Treads game for a lot of people. He does finally finish those, will help against the stuns, but I think this is very much going to be, okay, I'm just going to farm up and try to be relevant in team fights. Nah. Peanut's starting up the Dragon here. I say starting up, he's finishing off.
Yeah.
And Honor Life Esports got control of the area, so it won't be contested. That's 3 grubs and the Fierce Dragon going to Honor Life Esports, which is pretty nice start on top of that gold lead they have. Kind of getting everything they want.
Yeah, Honor Life Esports sort of running the rift at this point in time. We do know that these Ivan drafts can hold their own when it comes to later stages of the game, and we haven't really seen anything out of Jiwoo since he picked up that first kill for Nongshim. So it might be that they can look to him to start getting something done, as Sylvie's going to come on over and realize that he's not going to be able to fight for this Rift Scuttler. And Peanut continues his sort of demolition of the jungle. Not ahead by a massive amount of camps or anything like that, but has been able to get a whole lot more done at the same time as keeping up in farm.
Yeah.
It's pretty impressive.
Yep, I think it's been getting on the fastest paced game, but just slowly building up those resources to where they want to. Second set of grubs up, and it looks like Peanut's heading towards those, so he'll just be able to secure them. Sylvie not on that side of the map, and this is where you start to feel a little bit concerned with the side of Nongshim, because they haven't really paid too much attention to objectives in general so far. And if this next Draken goes over to Honor Life Esports as well, if it's a strong soul, they could be in a hole sooner rather than later. They are trying to look to find something on Viper, but it's a Zeri with Flash, with Barrier.
And not a lot of minion wave here either, as Jiwoo is also going to take a casual turret shot.
Yeah.
Want to update everyone as well. Zeka is currently sitting on 994 kills in the LCK, looking to be 7th mid laner to reach 1,000. And 27th player in LCK history to reach 1,000 kills as well. So, bit of a milestone, but he's on 0-0-0 right now. And it's seems to be Peanut and Doran that are getting the most done when it comes to this. As Peanut flashes forward, Mihail, great hop. He's going to get himself out of the way, utilizes the flash, but he keeps himself alive this time.
I was just going to say, you know, I've seen this one before, the dive coming through from HLE. No support from Mihail, but he manages to navigate it by himself. Well played there. Plate still goes over, but surviving that situation, pretty nice for him, especially given how far behind he's already been put. Now, HLE trying to potentially threaten on the spot side. Depends for Jiwoo.
Delight really wanted to press E. Like, he really, you could feel it. Because, of course, when you're in between a turret like that, I mean, it is... That's exactly where Poppy wants you, but just not willing to dive at this point, which I think was intelligent. They hadn't seen Guga for quite some time.
Yeah, plus Jiwoo cleanse and ult. It's not an easy dive.
Yeah.
I feel like he just uses both of those and navigates out. So they'll back away. And all in all, I'm kind of looking towards that next Dragon as a sort of big point of the game where Nongshim kind of needed Wick out. Are they going to be able to fight it? Because it feels like they're kind of just waiting now for better opportunities, but we've seen the power that this HLE sort of mid-jungle AD carry trio can have in these team fights. BNK Fearx a great demonstrator of that. And if Viper starts to clean up these fights, pick up Golden Azeri, it's going to become so problematic so quick.
Yeah, could be a really rough time as... Okay, Guga. That is not in trade for a flash. That's in trade for half a Vault Breaker.
Yeah, I was hoping he could get it in range. Peanut able to slink out just in time. And losing the flash on your Alistair leading into Dragonfight, definitely not a good feeling.
No, and there's also the Malignant Spike now for Zeka as well. And there's no Trinity Force just yet for Fisher, as Charm will connect this time around. The new and improved Electrocute doing a fair bit of work here at the same time. And so I do think that this is going to be a dangerous Dragon to fight for, unless Fischer can get back, finish off this Trinity Force in time, try and answer these spikes that have started to come through for Hammerlife.
Yeah, and I feel like that's kind of true a little bit across the board, where, you know, Fischer's going to have better spikes late in the game. Mihail needs items to really have a spike, which he just doesn't have.
Maybe an item. Maybe we don't need to plural it yet.
Yeah, an item would be good.
Yeah. More than the weird hammer that he has.
Yeah, 2-item spike for Kaiser is pretty good, so I feel like it might be a bit of a struggle. You know,
do you think that he bought Phage so that he could use it to repair his turret?
Maybe.
Maybe that's the plan.
He's figured out it didn't work like that, and he's just very upset.
Thankfully, it does build into his first core item, but I imagine that that's the thinking. Hammerlife Esports getting to work on Shelly. She will be going down here, and we can check in on the plate numbers. Large reason why Hammerlife Esports do have a decent advantage right now. 500 gold to the 125 that Nongshim have been able to pick up. And so, good start thus far. One thing that has been impressive out of Nongshim is the amount of control that Fischer has had. And I think that he should still be able to be a fighting force as we move sort of mid to late in this game. You were talking about the 2-item spikes, and if he does get towards that Trinity Force, which I think should be coming in now, could be powerful.
Yeah, we do just see Nongshim give a ton of pressure on that mid-tier 1. It's almost gone down without any assistance there from the Herald. And HLE still have the Herald in pocket. We can see Doran TP'd in already. He's on a big flank angle. He could just kill Sylvie.
Well, Sylvie is just going to be stunned. There is the cease and desist from Peanut. They get the flash out from Sylvie here as Doran's still chasing after him, and in goes Delight. That was such a weird interaction, but it worked out in the favor of Nongshim. Good headbutt from Guga to get the Poppy out of there.
You know, he kind of wasted his flash before, but he just denied Delight's there to make up for it. That being said, though, Doran gets the flash and redemption from Sylvie without even committing his ult.
Oh, Viper has thrown down the ulti here in the mid lane as Jiwoo dived on in. Didn't have to invest his ult though. So Viper not going to have that button for this next fight.
And actually, it feels like HLE counted their chickens before they hatched there, because they had Zeka TP top, they had Viper being ultimate. They were like, okay, we got the dragon, but Nongshim were like, well, actually, no, we can contest this. Now that the Herald's being thrown down mid, the tower's gone already. Oh.
Yeah, and now you've got a Slicing Maelstrom onto just Fischer, but that should be working out here as they do get the stun out. The Ignite is ticking, and Fischer will be going down. He has drank his potion, and the Ignite is going to move down, but that is still going to be the last Q. Delight is going to be able to lock that one down. So after singing Fischer's praises, unfortunately, he is going to fall, overextending a little bit there towards the bottom side. And Hanwha should now be able to take their prize in this dragon.
Jiwoo set up here. They have the Alistair on the flank.
Well, there's the headbutt pulverized as in goes Jiwoo. The exhaust now down onto Viper. A very short trip through that wall as Hextech Soul. That's a big one. Jiwoo still dancing around this battle though, and Viper has to flash to get over the wall. He takes the Hex Gate to get himself out as Jiwoo. Man, that Shuriken did a lot of damage from Doran. Maybe I was used to watching the AD cannon, so it's just doing a whole lot more than what we were seeing yesterday. Still, it is going to be the Drake going over to Hammerlife Esports. Viper managed to get out. I don't think they lost too much.
Yeah, a couple of summons banned, but you're not too concerned about that when Dragon's in 5 minutes, so you'll have them back up for that. You get the Dragon, and you get the high roll on the Soul. Everything really Hammerlife Esports could ask for, and this was the point where Nongshim looked like they could potentially contest the Dragon. Because, you know, we'd allocate those resources elsewhere. Fischer ends up overextending a bit. He feels confident in the 1v1 against Doran. But Delight is there to ensure a kill comes through. And then this play, you know, combo comes in, they focus damage on a Viper, but a little dash away keeps him safe at first. And you can see it's very clear Nongshim are winning this encounter, especially when the redemption comes through. But it doesn't matter if you don't finish off the kills. And Viper flashes over, quickly gates away. And so, sure, you got 2 flashes, but you lost the Dragon. You're now 3,000 gold down, and it's the best soul that Hammerlife Esports could ask for.
Yeah. Best soul that anyone could ask for. Hextech is pretty powerful, and especially when it's paired alongside the Kennen. He likes lightning. That makes some sense. The Ari likes to dash around and do a whole bunch of stuff.
Zeri and Kennen with Hextech Soul.
Yeah, that is double Pikachu, and that's you know,
very on brand.
That's too many even for Ash, I could imagine. As okay, Doran trying to get himself out as Fischer dives on top of him. Guga, possible answer here. And will look to corral the little cannon, but the Slicing Maelstrom gets a fair bit of work done. Unbreakable Will is in as Peanut goes over. Now Doran's in an even better spot. Cougar does just have to try and vacate the area. Peanut's fighting 3 people, I guess, if you include Daisy, and he's going to get knocked up and taken out. Oh, never mind. He tries to flash away, but it's going to be Fisher that locks down the kill in the end. Doran getting a few cheeky stuns. That'll get him out of there. Humble Life Esports still with a little bit of a lead, but it's getting scrappy. Oh, okay. Doran's just going to kill Guga. Now Viper is going to look to clean up. Delight is 1v1ing Sylvie, which is a weird thing to do. There is a turret that's now dead, and we might have some certification. Wolf is here, by the way, guys, so this might be where he signs the documents, as Viper just picked up a double kill.
And as that play went on, you definitely got this feeling of, okay, it hasn't worked, Nongshim, probably the time to back off now. And then it kept going.
Or just take the turret.
And then it kept going. Yeah, the turret would have been fine too. You know, they're like, okay, we'll go on Doran. Doran ults. The stun comes through on Guga, so he can't follow up, and then he flashes that Pulverize. Then Peanut turns up, and I think at this point you're kind of like, okay, just maybe focus down Peanut a bit. Probably try and get out, though. Disengage should be the call here. You know more people are going to be coming. Oh, no, okay, G was coming as well. Okay. Okay, we're still going with this. Okay, we didn't kill Doran. Definitely need to get out now.
Yeah.
This is the point where you're like, right, we need to run. And then Guga's like, well, actually, I'll just die. And then G1 Fisher were like, well, I guess we will too.
Yeah, because they were thinking about also trying to assist with the killing of Doran. And instead, Doran just gets another kill, and then Viper gets 2.
Yeah, sometimes you just need to cut your losses.
Yeah, or cut your wins. Like, because they all go back, they take that turret, and then they walk out. And then I think that actually they're probably fine.
Yeah, or you could do what we just saw, and now you're 5,000 gold down.
Yeah, and 2,000 of that is in the hands of the Pikachu guy in the top lane. Yeah, Doran is really big.
That is
204.
That is an item combo as well, you know.
Yeah.
Burst damage.
I've heard these are good ones for the mid game.
For one-shot and squishy champions, phenomenal. Well, at least they have exhaust, right? That's gonna. Oh, but this Viper as well. Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have actually, I've respected Guga's use of exhaust onto Viper as well this game, but I think perhaps they need to start using it on Doran a little bit more, as you can see he does a fair bit of damage.
Okay, this is actually huge for Nongshim because they get Doran's ultimate on the back of that play.
True.
With Dragon in 20 seconds, I don't think you get a better opportunity to contest Dragon. It is still going to be very hard with this deficit, but you've just got a big spike. Jiwoo just picked up the Ginsu's Rage Blade. I think Fisher's going to recall for the Manamune and TP in. I genuinely think you fight this 100%. This is your best chance to get into the game.
Well, right now they don't have much of a position around the Dragon. Teleport is going to come in. You were talking about the Mirror Mana. Transformation comes in instantly here, so Fisher on that 2-item spike that we were talking about. Feels pretty good for Nongshim, as Guga does take a buckler to the back of the head. Teleport to come in now from Zeka as he's making his way down. Nongshim getting to work on this first Hextech Drake of the game. Doran still doesn't have the ulti up and available. That means that they're not going to go for any sort of fight. As Keeper's Verdict, that's going to get rid of the Gnar. And they'll kill Daisy.
It doesn't really do anything, but you can see Mihail about to hit Mega. It's like, okay, it's go. Oh, I'm gone.
Yeah, it was go time, but it was go the other direction.
Go back to your people. Nah.
Yeah.
Or top lane. He'll go top lane to kill some minions.
Back to the Stone Age.
But overall, pretty big for the side of Nongshim. The fact that they're managing to deny the Dragon, managing to deny the Soul Point is massive. But also, I think it's intelligent from Humble Life Esports that they recognize the spikes Nongshim were on. They knew they made a fumble burning the Kennen ultimate, and they went, look, why chance it? You know, why risk it when this is some of the biggest spikes that Nongshim are going to hit this entire game. Even, you know, we talked about the 80 carry spikes. Oh, fight in.
Yeah, that is Guga. Unbreakable Will has been popped, as now Viper standing his ground. Could have actually just snuck over that wall as the charm is going to connect. Guga's ran out of ulti, but Zeka's running out of health as we're fighting all of the jungle camps at the same time. Mihail's in the bottom lane. Thanks, Jonah Strong, for letting us know he's just killing minions, and Nongshim are just going to keep themselves alive. And honestly, it feels like Nongshim have hit like a second wind or something like that. There is something in the air. They're starting to find some positions in these fights.
They got some good items. They're looking pretty strong, and Humble Life Esports are feeling tentative on these approaches. You can see they're respecting them, but kind of in the way that they're like, being a bit too delicate in these approaches, maybe taking some bad angles, and suddenly, you know, even though it's a 5k gold deficit, it does not feel like it right now. Yeah.
And Doran is going to look for some shurikens here onto Guga, who's getting vision in this brush, or in multiple brushes, I guess, at the same time. Ju taking care of the mid lane. The entire outer ring of turrets have been taken, but only one turret has been taken by Nongshim. So if they're actually able to get any of this map control, we'll be able to get some of the standing gold waiting on the map.
I think it's hard right now, though, because Zeka's down TP, Doran just been his, and Mihail still has his. And even though, obviously, the Gnar is and was behind, in a side lane, Gnar is pretty fine. Unless you're, like, massively behind into something like a Camille or a Jax, like, neither Zeka or Doran are too much threat when they're by themselves to him. So he's going to have a pretty decent time there. We see Honlife Esports trying to set up around this Baron, but into a Kai'Sa, into a team with 2 blue trinkets, it can be pretty hard. Even the Redemption is a way of scouting the Baron. Hex gates as well mean it's so much easier to close the distance there. So I ultimately think that Nongshim should be able to scout this out.
Well,
I think Viper was spotted by that, maybe? I'm not sure if he was spotted by that ward.
I don't know either. It looks like Nongshim have absolutely no idea about what's going on. They will throw down a Redemption, but that might be too late as Keeper's Verdict should be able to get rid of Sylvie. There goes the smite. And that was almost a Void Seeker to take that one down, as now Zeka's going to miss another charm. Guga, though, I mean, what are they going to do? They just missed Baron, and it's now gone.
That ward just a little bit too far away from seeing Viper, it seems. And also, we're seeing the power of having the Poppy support. You know, you have your jungler on the objective, the Poppy plays interrupt, you land the ult, the neutral objective is secured. So, on Honlife Esports, things felt a little bit rickety for a bit in this mid game, but Baron secured is a huge boon for them.
Yep. Confirmation as well that Viper wasn't seen on the ward, is now Peanut gonna hop over and say hi to Guga. My God. Okay, so we were talking about item spikes for Nongshim. Viper just picked up his Infinity Edge.
Yeah.
And that's a bit of an item spike on the other side. There's also 3 items on Zeka as well.
Yeah, and Doran's approaching his 3 item spike. So a lot of power coming in through for Honlife Esports. Also, when you look at levels, the Baron given a lot of XP. Zeka now level 16. Viper a level up on Jiwoo. Those levels do make a fair bit of difference, and I feel like that power spike from Nongshim, you know, they got a dragon from it. But other than that, I think they've kind of passed it without getting any significant advantage, and HLE are just back to taking over this game. It's now almost an 8,000 gold lead.
It's pretty ridiculous. I do want to credit Honlife Esports on their sort of self-imposed apprehension around those item spikes like you were talking about earlier on. I do think that that was a large reason why Nongshim have felt like they haven't been able to find any sort of avenue into this game. Inhibitor going to go down in the bottom lane.
It's one of these things where when you see weaker teams get a lead and then throw it away, it's often around situations like that where they don't respect those item spikes. So the fact that HLE did... Oh,
there's a pulverize onto Zeka. He's headbutted away as well. Good exhaust is going to connect as Jiwoo is going to turn up as well. That'll be a kill onto Zeka. And Mihail is also taking a turret on the top side of the map. So that's going to pull back that Red Bull Baron power play just a little.
Yeah, there is one thing to mention though. Zeka's down. You can tell that Nongshim want to set up this dragon. But Guga burn exhaust onto Zeka, and it's a level 16 cannon who has just teleported in.
Yep, and now Delight looking for that angle as well, as in goes Peanut. Doesn't find a cease and assist. There's the slicing Maelstrom, and there goes both of the carries. Oh, Guga's turned into a steak as well as Mihail at least able to get one of the kills, but there's the Vault Breaker flash. Peanut gonna help lock that one down. That's a double for Viper as well, and it is only Sylvie left alive. Hanwha just have the Nexus in their sights.
So often you see the cannon come in with a big ult, the exhaust comes down, it does damage, the CC's there, but it's not quite hitting like we've seen before. But Doran there was able to get in on a great angle, able to get the ult off without the exhaust, able to go unchallenged, and just one-shots the backline of Nongshim. It's just a supportive cast, they're not going to be able to defend here.
They are not. Doran as well, 100% kill contribution on a top laner. Like, what year is it? That's absolutely nutty. He's going to be able to help lock down this one as well. Sylvie just has to watch as his Nexus explodes, and Honlife Esports in the blink of an eye just turn game 1 off.
Yeah, and I think a lot of credit given to the patience to have the mid-game, and also the decisiveness when there's blood in the water, when there is a bit of an advantage. When you burn one summoner perhaps a bit hastily, that's all it takes, and Honlife Esports will absolutely punish you for it. I think after the loss to KT, this game definitely inspiring some renewed confidence in them.
Yeah, and I feel like KT does this to teams, you know, where they're just playing a little bit more emotionally. This was the well-oiled machine that we know Harmalife Esports is, right? They come in, they play their game, they see the enemy champions like their tools being utilized, they see the items that are there, they play around that, then they execute when they need to.
And they don't pick Shyvana.
They also don't pick Shyvana. They hover Shyvana a bunch of times, the fans lose their minds, and then they don't pick it and they win. It's a beautiful way to utilize Shyvana in a draft phase, I think.
Yeah, you know, I think a lot of effectiveness there.
Yeah.
But, you know, this is a sort of composition where the tools are there. It really can just play itself. Zeka having a very quiet game, but Doran, you know, that last fight really cemented, but having such a pop-off game.
He did, and Peanut gave him the help earlier on, and Doran just said, all right, I carry the game now. And he absolutely did. Beautifully done. 6 grubs as well. Large reason why they were able to lock down so many of these turrets. Harmalife Esports looking like they're back, but they're going to have to win another game in this series if they want to walk away with the W. We're going to go to a short break. When we get back, the space is going to break down. We'll have game number 2. See you there.
만들고 한번 빼면 되지. 아이 먼저 18초 2명.
그냥 무시하고 칠래?
바보 시야 타워 줄게.
아,
야,
타워
미니언이
치면
왔다.
타워 치면 무조건 나. 타워 쳐줘.
나도 갈래. 끝내.
알릴 뭐 잡아도 돼.
3초 뒤에 나온다.
나이스.
They've got one win in the books. Is it Dragon time?
Oh my god. Well, you know he's going to hover it.
Maybe he's going to pick it. That's what I'm hoping. Ashe is going to be banned away. We've got the Maokai taken off the board as well. These are the same bans as we had last time. Zyra and Sejuani will be the next ones if we're going down the same route. But no, it's going to be the Vi.
Oh, well, Peanut's like, well,
I mean,
the Vi's banned, the Maokai's banned. I guess I've got to pick the Shyvana now.
yeah, Sejuani's banned as well, you know?
Yeah, there's so many junglers banned. I don't think we have an option. It's the only one left.
Sylvie better pick it away, otherwise that Shyvana's getting snapped up.
They're ruminating heavily on this one.
Well, Ivern is still going to be the consideration. That will be locked away.
And you saw Sylvie struggled last game because it felt like Peanut set up a faster pace than him in the jungle because he was able to make things happen and keep up in farm, able to make those ganks go well in the top lane. And I think this game, knowing that proactivity won them last game, they might just send the Shyvana.
Well,
not be proactive. It'd be so telling. Zyra has been left open though. Zyra was banned last time, it has been left open. So they could go the Zyra.
And that is going to be the lock-in. And so Peanut not going to be a dragon.
Tremendous amounts of restraint.
Yeah, a lot of plants in the jungle as well. It is a place where there are a lot of plants. So I guess it makes sense. But now you got Ivern and Zyra and her large amount of plants that she does have available. That is Cassante being considered here. Mihail, a huge fan of Cassante, as we know. And that one will be locked away. Tristana, once again, and that is going to be picked up. Of course, Tristana, Ivan, very powerful combo. As Zeka is still going to get in a little bit of a Shyvana hover.
Sorry, Zeka. Everyone knows it's Zyra jungle. You're not going to get any cheers for that one, any groans or anything.
Wait, unless they locked in MF, because MF Zyra is one heck of a bottom lane. But that is not happening, and now it is definitely not going to be Zyra anywhere else other than the jungle.
I think putting Mihail on the Cassante, a lot more stable lane, and because Hololive Esports went for the Leona, there's no opportunity to pick up their top laner. Nongshim going to be able to ban out things like the Gnar that might cause problems. I also think the Leona denial works pretty well because I feel like with looking at the composition for Nongshim, I feel like Ziggs Leona would have been such a good combo for them.
Yeah.
Leona obviously now denied. They ban away the Braum, which is often a good matchup into it. Maybe the Alistar as a final ban, I think, makes sense for the side of Hololive. Or you could ban like Kai'Sa, you know. I think the AP profile would be decent for Nongshim as well. It kind of depends, though, what Viper wants to play in this situation.
Yeah.
Ban.
I think it's an MF angle for Viper if he can get his hands on it.
Yeah.
I do really like the Misfortune in as far as the composition that they already have.
Yeah, Leona also really good into MF because you can just ult from a distance to stop hero ult. So by picking it up themselves, they've kind of denied that.
Yeah.
Will be the Alistar ban coming through. I wonder if Nongshim sense the MF and ban that themselves. I think getting rid of the Gnar in the top lane is kind of... I mean, you could ban Renekton, but I feel like that's less necessary in this situation.
I think there's a lot of picks that you can play into Cassante, so I think the bans after the Gnar get a little bit less valuable.
Yeah, he is kind of just going to be a brick wall. Like, it feels like they've drafted this so they don't have to worry about top lane as much, and he's always going to be somewhat relevant. They do sense MF, they do ban it away. And now the question is, what will Hololive Esports opt to pick up here? I think you just take top here and maybe leave AD carry and get some more information, unless there's something you have a big prio on.
Ooh.
Looks like they are leaning towards that Renekton.
Yep, makes a bit of sense. It's the first time we've seen Renekton slip all the way through a draft. I think last game there was just no, the Renekton, yeah, it was just no Renekton in the whole game. Kind of crazy. It's what happens when the Gnar is blind picked. It's not really a Renekton answer. As Jiwoo thinking about what he wants to play here.
Yep, hovering the 3 picks that I think everyone's kind of thinking of, the Zeri, the Kai'Sa, and the Ziggs. Obviously, Zeri got the least AP in the damage profile from them, but I think you're kind of okay regardless.
There's no real true tank to come through on the side of Hololive Esports outside of the Leona, who's not going to have the luxury of building a bunch of items.
Yeah.
So you're not really too worried about it.
By the time it does become a concern, it's going to be pretty late into the game, so I don't think you're too worried about that. Looking at the Rel, potentially, obviously wanting to pick something that can engage in the bot lane and provide that with the Ivan in the jungle. You do need your engage source there, and the matchup's pretty okay in Leona, so looks like they'll just lock that one in.
Yep, just going to be the Rel. As now Viper, a consideration of the Jhin, and that will just be locked in. This is something that Viper has been teased about in the past, of course. Just hopping on the bus a little bit on the Jhin. But we haven't seen Jhins be a lot more relevant than I would like to admit.
Yeah.
Because I am a known Jhin anti, not a huge fan of this champion. But we know that in a composition, especially one like this, it can work exceptionally well. With layering the CC, Deadly Flourish can really get some work done.
Yeah, especially if you get the enemy team low, then a lot of potential for the ult to do work. I do think comps feel a lot more even than the last game. That being said, though, Nongshim's composition feels a lot easier to play. They have tanky frontliners who can block things like the Jhin damage. They got a lot of sustain from the Ivan. They have 2 strong scaling AD carries. So teamfight should be pretty straightforward, but I think Hololive Esports, they have a strong lane in the bot lane. They have a strong lane in the top side as well with that Renekton.
Yeah.
It just ended up being
from Sweden to support Jiwoo. Very, very cool. Also, just a shout out to a whole bunch of Nongshim products, which is just always great to see. So, see whether that is going to be enough to get a Nongshim across the line. Like you were talking about. Orcs, I do think the Nongshim's composition looks a little bit more like an Ivan draft.
Yep.
This time around.
I think they have the tools. You know, it just comes to navigating those early levels. We've seen the Corki Tristana matchup go different ways, but I think Corki has the edge at the moment. So if you manage to survive the lanes, that's the goal for Nongshim.
Well, see how it goes. We jump into the rift for game number 2. Oh, Hano fans, very, very loud today. Understandable as well. They just suffered a loss against KT. And so far in this series, it looks like they have found their form back once again. So we'll just have to see how the early lane is going to go. And whether Peanut is going to continue to just have like a bit of a gap. A bit of the jingle diff that they were talking about before, which I would prefer not to talk about, but I guess it's now in our repertoire. It might be a problem.
It's really concerning because Zyra can clear so fast that she can finish a jungle and be like, okay, I have free time to either invade, challenge enemy jungler. I've been very vulnerable to invades if he's set up the camps and you steal them away. But it looks like they're going for a late invade here. They want to clear out the plants and potentially steal away some camps. This can really make the Zyra struggle if she doesn't have plans for her level 1 clear.
Yeah, you can see already Peanut has just vacated the area.
Yeah, and they will be going for a lane swap in the situation. So we talked about how the lane advantages were there for Honor Life Esports. Nongshim get a double whammy, right? They deny the top and bot lane advantages. They also slow down Peanut's clear. Delight walks mid to try and threaten, but Calyx backs off, sees it coming. And I think this might be pretty good for Nongshim.
Yeah, very nicely done. Doran is just going to take a bunch of damage.
Not ideal.
Yeah, did manage to get the experience from the melee minions, which is certainly good. But that is about all he's going to be able to collect for himself. As you can see, Viper stacking up this wave.
But,
wait.
Sylvie...
He prepped
the camps and just left.
What? What? What?
Well...
Huh?
I'm sorry to say it, Max. I'm sorry to bring it up, but this is feeling a little bit like, you know, I'm hearing the noise, I'm hearing the jingle.
Yeah, I feel like it's a bar difference.
Yeah.
I think
the
we are.
roaming support.
Can we say it like that? It helps me.
Well, you know, Sylvie is going to kill. Well, he doesn't kill. He's an Ivan, but he is going to take a camp at some point, I believe. But he is now 4 camps down on the Zyra. Yeah. Zyra is level 3. Ivan is level 1. And wait, he just prepped the camps in the bot side jungle, and Peanut is going.
Yeah.
It's actually over. He's getting stolen.
Oh God, no! How could it go this wrong?
This is the worst case scenario.
And he knows. He knows as well as, oh God, okay, well at least he'll be able to come over and smite this. Like, he's prepped it so he can take it away. Right, well, he lost his Raptors and also wasted a bunch of time. Peanut might be able to get a double scuttle here.
Yeah. And Peanut still has camps up.
Yeah.
Clear. So, certainly... The plan made so much sense as well. I think that's the worst part is I think what they were doing did make sense. And then he just said, you know what? You take these camps, Peanut. I think a big factor was Delight roaming up by the backing.
I think Delight sort of scouted it.
Yeah.
And saw the fact that those camps were taken away. So maybe it was just a bit of a gambit that went wrong. But it absolutely went wrong, like real bad. It's all right. Zeka going to now try and add a bit of damage onto Calyx, but Rocket Jump still as overpowered as ever. Just gets him out of there.
He at least like smited the red or something, but I guess he just assumed fully that okay, it's.
No, the red was up.
But I'm saying you would have assumed that he.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But I guess his thought process was okay. It's a map split. It's a handshake. Peanut would never dare crossing this side of the jungle. You know, we're just splitting the map.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm still kind of stunned.
Somewhat flabbergasted, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that was a problematic series of events.
Okay, so let's do a little sit rep of the situation. Peanut is like 18 CS ahead in the jungle.
Yes.
And Doran is like 15 CS ahead in the top lane.
Got it.
So
we're going to say that the lane swap was not as successful as it could have otherwise been.
Yeah, I'd say probably probably didn't want it to go that way. You know, when teams do lane swaps, you always have an idea of what the objective is. I don't think they hit the mark on the. I think you can definitely say that. Nongshim had different expectations.
They did at least swap the lanes, you know? So the lanes were successfully swapped.
I think they swapped the lanes, but I don't think they laned the swap.
Yeah, the laning of the swap was the problem. You would be the one to let us know about that, as Delight goes for a huge journey inside the wall, which was very cool. The grenade dances on top of Jiwoo there.
Yeah.
Gives him a bit of a headache, but he's going to otherwise be all right. As Peanut walks through the brush, Sylvie able to make friends with the Raptors this time around. And now Peanut is looking for Calyx, or just looking to make his way towards the top side. Looks like some grubs will be on his mind.
Yeah, this is the Zyra situation in a nutshell. You play so fast that you finish your jungle, and then, you know, you can go in the enemy jungle. If their camps aren't up, you just do stuff mid or whatever.
Yep. And Calyx does get the help of the Trigger Seed, but still struggling just a little bit. Ivan going to be moving on over to try and at least pick up one of these grubs, maybe.
Yeah, this is level 6 for next, and I don't think you head over there.
Right. And he is in the river as well, and that's where crocodiles like to be.
Yeah. Or he might try and sneak this last one, but Peanut still has Smite. So I think this is one of those observing situations where you just watch the enemy jungler take an objective.
Well, he pressed some buttons here. Still, Grasping Root's going to come down, and Sylvie's going to take a fair bit of damage. Thankfully, does just manage to shield himself up.
You know, I went into that situation thinking there's no way Sylvie has enough damage to solo kill Peanut here, and I left that situation reaffirmed my knowledge of Ivan damage limits.
I feel like you may have been onto something. That's why we pay you the big bucks. You know, that's why we have you around.
Yeah, situations like that. But sometimes, you know, everyone questions themselves a bit. You're like, oh, they're picking Shyvana. Ivan's trying to 1v1 Zyra. Am I wrong? And then you see it play out, and you're like, perhaps not.
Yeah, I guess not.
Perhaps not in this case.
Well, first Drake is going to be a Chemtech, which is a little bit of a shame. We haven't had too many Chemtech souls recently, by the way.
Yeah.
Nice work.
It's getting towards the playoffs, so I've been doing my job a bit more.
Yeah, I reckon you've really stepped it up, and it's been impressive, and we appreciate it. But that is a kind of sad thing for Nongshim, because I think they would have benefited a whole lot more from a Chemtech soul than Armalife Esports. So would have been pretty happy to pick up a few of them. Don't know whether they're going to be able to get the first dragon either, because they don't have a large amount of control of this game.
Yeah, it definitely feels like they're on the back foot everywhere, simultaneously. At least they're sort of doing things as a team. They are losing lane as a team right now.
If only they had have laned the swaps a little bit better.
Yeah,
as well as swapping the lanes. As Peanut's going to come on over, employs some plants to try and take down this dragon. And I believe that one will be secured. Viper just casually standing on top of Vision. And I don't think Nongshim are going to be able to really answer with Zeka here with control of the mid-wave. And Doran rotating down.
Smite as well, like 2 seconds before that, so no realistic.
Right, so he just uses his smite while there's a dragon that was being taken, but he doesn't use a smite on the red buff at level 1? Is that
Some
what you're saying?
decisions were made, okay? I think the losing all your camps level 1 kind of scared him a little bit. He's like, well, I have to, every camp I just have to smite it.
Oh, so he was just learning.
Yeah, he's learning over the course of this game. And maybe just realized that they couldn't really contest the dragon.
And they would probably be right there as well. I think another correct assessment coming on through.
Learning is the key thing for Nongshim right now, because they aren't winning right now. But if they learn, maybe by the end of the game, they can learn how to win.
That is, that's the hope. That's the dream. As Delight does find out that there is a red buff for the taking here, and Ivan nowhere in the vicinity. And so Sylvie's once again going to make friends with the jungle, and then Peanut is going to kill it. And that's going to be sad for the Ivan.
Yeah, it's been a consistent theme in this game, I feel.
Yeah, it's like Delight is also counter-jungling, so it's kind of unfair, you know, because he just keeps leaving the lane. Viper very safe on this Jhin. And, yeah, Sylvie gets the bad news here. And there goes the camp.
He didn't have Smite anyway, so it was pretty...
Look at this. And the plants are still annoying Sylvie.
Oh, and they're still CSing for Peanut.
Yep. And there's the last one. Just the right amount of time calculated, I'm pretty sure. That is how you lane the swap, I think.
Yeah, I think Peanut's got it on wraps.
He's figured it out.
You know, I think it was a good start of the day when he didn't pick Shyvana, and it's just getting better from there.
He's continued to do exactly that as well. That's the crazy thing. It's a day about learning. We're all learning together. Peanut's learning that maybe Shyvana isn't quite as good as the scrim results and external sources are saying.
Maybe it's just not as good for him.
I tell you what, I've been having a lot of fun because now everyone seems to want to also try Shyvana a lot in the jungle because she's fun, you know? She turns into a dragon, that's great. But it just means that you have a lot of people playing Shyvana.
Perhaps the execution for this champion will work a higher bar than some of these players previously realized.
Well, let's see whether this execution is going to work out as Doran trying to create as much space as possible. Teleports come in from Zeka though, and so Doran now with the Dominus popped is, you know, at least has to use a decently large cooldown, but no flash required or anything like that. And now some grubs being taken at the same time. Life Esports sort of doing double duty as they do take down the first grub. Zeka and Delight just trying to keep them in control, and all 5 members of Hanwha are here. There's Gasante in the bottom lane, so no fighting here for Nongshim. Unfortunately, Daisy's also going to fall down, and so 6 grubs. That is 12 on the day so far for Life Esports.
Pretty good for HLE, but also, you know, I feel like the story of this game has just been Sylvie's friends being killed. And we see Daisy die there, we saw the camps dying.
Well, there's a solar flare, has to be flashed as the curtains are still called. Calyx soaking a few of these bullets, all of them landing.
I like how he split them between the targets.
Yeah.
A bit for him.
Spreading out the damage, making sure that no one feels left out. That would be a jingle diff foul, you know? Has to be fair.
Looked like Guga wanted to do something and then quickly realized Delight is always there.
He is everywhere this game. Honestly, secondary jungler and a support for both mid and bottom lane.
He does it all.
He's a man about town. And we are still out of our first blood, but it's a 2,000 gold lead. And there's no first turret blood, so it's all plates and jungle difference.
Yeah, I honestly feel like if it was like 5 kills to 0 in favor of Life Esports, I think I would have felt better for Nongshim about how this early game went.
Peanut is 20 CS ahead of the enemy top laner.
Yeah, I think it just feels so bad because I actually think they came in with a decent idea of what to do to deal with the lanes. And in terms of the actual laning, like Jiwoo is close to farm from Viper. Calyx, you're playing Tristana with an Ivan, and you're not that far behind compared to the Corki. But everything else...
Oh, God!
Look!
Oh, God!
Okay.
It's just shoes!
Would you rather have Ionian Boots of Lucidity or Leandries? That's the question. Which would you prefer to have at 13 minutes?
I feel like the Leandries is better, as Viper is just going to flash and kill Jiwoo.
Yep. Well,
Jiwoo's cleanse was not enough to cleanse him out of the death chamber.
Oh, and they're taking plates as well. You know, just when I was like, things aren't looking so bad.
Well, there's a solar flare. Teleport to come in as well, as now Mihail's gone all out. Zeka just trying to do the damage here as Calyx jumping in. Good Q going to connect, and that is the full stack of the explosive charge. Zeka sheepishly walking away as Delight pays for their sins.
Yeah, I honestly think maybe they could have gone for at least Zeka's flash or a second kill, but I guess they didn't have the vision, didn't want to risk it. They just take the kill, get out. Delight goes down, and Nongshim now have a kill, but the goal lead is now 3,000. It's gotten bigger.
Yeah, seems like it's not necessarily positive. My God, Peanut does so much damage. It is absolutely ridiculous. Sylvie not going to be able to get over to the Dragon Pit as Viper turns up. Deadly Flourish. There's the curtains being called once again. Guga's going to have to eat all of these bullets because Sylvie would die if he took one. And in goes Delight because, of course, he is here. And the Grasping Roots are going to come down. Jiwoo finding an ultimate as Peanut taking a fair bit of damage, but Viper gets another one. Remember, the Dancing Grenade needs to be a little bit wearisome of as okay, Calyx looking for that flank angle. Peanut could be some food for the Tristana. As Delight looking for an angle, and Calyx just gets the heck out of there because Doran is really big and a crocodile and stuff, and so you don't really want to be fighting that. And Hanwha once again just come out on top.
Yep, we see the junglers meet, and I think the takeaway is one of them is significantly stronger than the other.
Yes. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. This is You know how, media and the Korean cast knew that Peanut was a worthy choice as far as the POG. I think that they can stick on that tack moving into this POG vote. This one feels all about the nut.
And this one, just Viper finding the damage, gets the root. Fourth shot, flash Q. And I think GU just not expecting it. This one was a little bit more, they were like, hey, we're winning the game. We're 1-0 up already. It's just a Cassante. But it's Cassante, even when you're ahead, you gotta respect it.
Got the flash. They're gonna be pinging the flash.
Oh, of course. And then here, Peanut actually missed the initial root. The ult didn't proc the flowers, didn't empower them, and he still nearly killed Sylvie.
Yeah.
I feel like Peanut didn't even. Play it
honestly,
that well.
it was just Peanut's plans.
Yeah.
That did enough. And when you have Leandri's, that's all you need.
This is the difference between Shyvana and Zyra. If you miss the E's on Shyvana, you don't do any damage. But even if you miss your abilities on Zyra, the plants do the damage for you.
Yep. It's almost better if you miss. Sometimes the plans find an angle that you're just not ready for. Nongshim just not really finding the confidence. As Mihail, once again, trying to deal with Zekker. And Delight is obviously here. This time they have a Crocodile as well, though. So Doran's going to be able to cut him down. There's going to be Doran possibly falling. No. Just keeps himself alive, tanks it up for long enough.
Using the full breadth of his health.
Wanted to go home anyway.
A little bit close to the end. Calyx will trade a turret and get an objective bounty here, so not too bad. But in return, they've lost all of the Void Grubs, and all of the Heralds.
It's 4,500 gold, the lead. And you can see with the fact that Delight is 500 gold up, it's a lot of global gold going over to Hummel.
Doesn't have a gold lead. The answer, no one.
Well, Nongshim.
Oh, Nongshim, yeah.
Yeah, they don't have a gold lead.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
Yeah.
And in this situation, 3 is the answer. If you're wondering how many people does it take to take down this Cassante, it takes 3.
At least, maximum 3. Because he did die. I guess last time we saw 2, and that didn't work. So yeah, 3's enough. 3's it.
Yeah. He's obviously stacking up some armor, but you're into a Fed Zyra, so have fun with that, I guess.
Yep, and Doran also has a Black Cleaver, went for that first, which is not something we often see, but into a Thornmail Rush and a Warden's Mail as well. Doesn't sound like a bad idea. As Rift Herald is just gonna miss. Okay.
You know what it is? I'm not even blaming Peanut for that. That was going to be sick. He was like, guys, finish the turret.
Finish the turret. I'll get the charge.
One. They didn't finish the turret. They didn't get the memo, right?
Yeah.
He tried to send the message by carrier pigeon.
Well, it was actually genius, but unfortunately, the rest of the team just not on the same page. So I'm going to say that Peanut's driving ability still second to none.
That was slick. No one would have saw that coming, and he was just let down by his team. So, credit to Peanut for being creative.
Yep, just still POG, still POG.
Put in a little drift around that first turret. Yeah.
Very, very cool. Unfortunately, doesn't pay off, but they still get the outer turret in mid, and they get a bit of extra damage onto the inner turret as Delight. Still looking for Jiwoo. Solar Flare is going to be avoided entirely.
Yeah, not the easiest to hit, especially when you have the Berserker Greaves and the Shiv gives movement speed as well.
Yeah.
Not the easiest to blind fire, but you're fishing Leonalt, pretty low cooldown. It's going to be back up for Dragon. You're like, hey, maybe we can get a cleanse. You don't, but it's not a big deal.
And the Twisted Jhin. Once again, it is Rapid Fire and the Static Shiv. I know people have a lot of thoughts when it comes to Jhin builds. This is the agreed upon one here in the LCK. Is Doran taking a fair bit of damage from the explosive charge. Calyx, I don't think is going to be able to kill him, but still is looking for an angle.
Doran just a master of the walk strategy there.
He just really did walk, didn't he?
Yeah. Really well played.
Yep. Delight is now here, also walking, as Zenith plating in also. That's going to deny a bit of damage as Doran, he's back once again. As Mihail underneath the turret, don't know about that one. He's going to try and mitigate the CC, doesn't quite do it, and he still tanks a heck of a lot. Calyx, some stray turret shots there as well, as this inner turret did take a fair bit of damage, but they also lost everything, and inner turret's dead, and there's another flash, and curtains have been called, and Jiwoo is going to be able to at least escape from Viper, who's going to get crashed into. Magnet Storm comes down. Calyx is here as well. Viper's going to cleanse, And Mihail is going to be needed as well. Okay,
Just keep
Cinders,
running.
Cinders, Cinders, Cinders. And he's blast coning. He's now just behind enemy lines entirely. Is he going to be able to just get Baron for his team?
Keep running!
Oh god, if there was another Cinder, there is another Cinder. There's another Cinder! Orcs, there's a Cinder! He's gonna stand on another Cinder! Oh god, and he just walks away from the queue. The explosive charge isn't gonna be slowing him down. He even turns for an auto attack to get the speed up, and he's out of there.
And we said Doran was a master of the walk strategy, and Viper's like, just wait a minute, I can do better.
Yeah, that was a hold my beer moment if ever I've seen one, and he needed us to because that was some fancy footwork. Oh, okay. Well, that's why you buy Swifty boots, guys. Movement speed, best stat in the game, confirmed.
And the build we're talking about, you know, getting
Yeah.
speed from the Shiv and the rapid fire cannon. He's just zooming. Imagine if he had Cloud Dragons as well.
I mean, I think those Cinders were enough.
Yeah.
That was some pretty excellent Cinder work. Really do have to say,
Felt like they
utilizing
were
the
kinda-
rift you're given.
It kind of felt like they were perfectly placed, you know.
It did.
It's like when you're playing like Sonic and the rings show you where to go.
Yeah. Or like Donkey Kong, the bananas show you where to go.
Yep.
It's exactly that. And Summoner's Rift, you know, it's a video game as well. That's what we have to remember. And so Peanut, he's looking for Soul Point. I don't know whether anyone on Nongshim is going to be able to deny him that. And so he will just be able to pick this one up. It's looking a little bit worrying. There's only been 4 kills this game.
Well,
it feels like it's been a bloodbath on Humble Life Esports' side, but it's really not.
It has on all of Sylvie's friends of the forest.
Yes,
They've
that is
slaughtered.
definitely true.
He's like, you know, it was nice to hang out with you. I'll be back in a couple of minutes. You're my best friends. Comes back a couple of minutes later, and they're all just dead. It's
Yeah,
like,
this is like the sad ending of Fern Gully.
Yeah.
It's not really what you want to see. That was like the Jingle Diff type moment. I'm sorry for bringing everyone down there.
Yeah. You know, there's a lot of. I feel like there's a lot of those like depressing films that are like Watership Down as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're supposed to learn a lesson, but oftentimes you're just sad.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what today has been about. It's about learning for Nongshim, but also has been a little bit sad. They do have a lot of tape to go over though to try and get some improvement. But this is it's not on the avenue towards victory.
But here's the nice thing is Peanut started the Baron a little bit late. 22.5 minutes. There's a Zyra jungle and they still haven't taken Baron. That's, you know.
There we go. There's some tape for Humble Life Esports to also look at. Learning on both sides.
Yeah, that's the silver lining, right? Is Baron hasn't gone yet. Oh.
This is a lot of gym damage, as we can see there. I like that Viper is going to engage onto Jiwoo as we have a look at him doing the most damage in the game. It's not going to be Delight saying you're welcome for the carry Viper this time. This is the carry Jin actually working out as Peanut misses the roots completely, but we saw you get the slow.
Yep, still there. There's a lot of wards around the Baron. This one you can see just like northeast a little bit from where Peanut is, not spotted. Really nice spot hanging against that wall to avoid the control ward. So they have information that they're not doing the Baron.
They're not.
And that's all they need.
And Doran is now going to move over. We'll be able to pick up this wave as it does move past. Inhibitor still exposed there on the top side of the map. And Hum will look for a reset. They're just going to be able to do so. That ward really paying off. Nongshim understanding exactly when these resets are coming in. They can move up, clear out vision themselves, and get something down. So no Barons to be taken just yet.
But it is potentially Infernal Soul in 2.5 minutes. And, you know, there's a couple of champions on the side of Hollow Life Esports, namely all of them would appreciate that extra damage.
Yeah, I'm feeling like this is a 5-level gap, by the way. So Guga not going to face check. I think a good move. Plan. Lord Dominic's regards has been picked up here by Viper. That is 3 items.
3 items also on Zeka. He's gone for a bit of the healing reduction, especially when you're into this like Moonstone Redemption Ivan. It's the amount of healing you can actually get in a fight. He's not gone the Moonstone, actually gone the Kale's Blessing, so a bit less healing for the Redemption, but still decent amount of value. More reminder in its current form, ever since they took Giant Slayer from LDR, less trade-off for going Mortal and stuff, the LDR.
Yep.
And HLE toying the idea of the Baron still. That blue trinket did just get burned.
Yep.
3-level lead in the jungle.
Yeah.
Not too surprised.
No. It's also more than a Flame Horizon here for Peanut as far as that jungle CS number is concerned.
Like an Inferno Horizon.
Yeah, it's a big Horizon. It's a jingle dip. I think there's no two ways about it. And I think the Baron is going to be taken down. I don't know whether there's going to be much of an answer here for Nongshim as Zeka. He can sort of set up, play bouncer if they would like to. Jiwoo's still somehow at 50% health. Not sure about that one as the Baron. Down to about 6,000. Nongshim are going to come on over. Let's see whether Sylvie can get into the pit. It looks like the answer is no. That's going to be secured by Peanut. Now Doran down to his Steric Shield, and he might actually die here. 1-for-1 so far in the fight. But the Baron's still going over to Humble Life Esports. They get out of the pit and they're looking for even more. Deadly Flourish comes down. Delight going to be in range. Solar Flare going to connect onto Mihail, and he is just dead. The flash forward from Zeka. He'll fight. Ooh, the rocket actually avoided very nicely, and some cinders. And Jiwoo going to utilize that to get himself out of there. Love this little cinder run that these players are going on.
Both 80 carries getting a little edge on those cinders, but now Jiwoo is, you just got to keep running. Never look back and keep running.
Well, the curtains are being called. They are going to discover the Krug.
Oh.
And all right, okay,
he's
Jiwoo.
coming. He's coming.
And oh, he stops him! And there's the explosion of all of those beautiful cinders. Oh, Delight. He just knows.
He's got that sense about him. Yeah, had a pretty big impact this game so far, and also managing to find out Jiwoo, and I think on the back of that Baron, things looking pretty rough for Nongshim now. Infernal Soul is up in 3 seconds. I don't think anyone actually is really focused on it. HLE, looks like Peanut's going to go solo. He's like, whatever, I'll do it. You guys keep pushing. But the game seems to have kind of fallen apart for Nongshim.
Yeah, it is certainly feeling like it's in favor of Humble Life Esports.
Just a tad.
The 12,000 gold lead may have something to do with it. There's the entire control of the map. There's the 130 CS lead for Peanut.
Yep.
He is also going to strangle Thorns a dragon, because why not?
Yep.
We're going to have a look at this fight once again. Doran does go down, but it was exactly what it said on the mission briefing here for Humble Life Esports.
A weird approach, because you think maybe Sylvie was going to go for the steal, but he doesn't. It appears like he wasn't even trying that heavily. So when Guga goes in, he just kind of dies. And top lane for support trade, in your head sounds pretty good, but Humble Life Esports are so much stronger, it just doesn't even matter. They take out Xante. Jiwoo just managed to survive there, and then Guga made the mistake of existing.
Yeah. He walked a direction he was not allowed to, which was past the minions. Don't do that. That was not it. Now there's 4 items on Zeka. He is 3-0-1. That's a very strong Corki. Viper also looking for his Infinity Edge. That should be coming in relatively soon, but or maybe it's just not going to come in because the game is going to be over. As Hanwha, they have a lot of inhibitors to get through now.
Yeah. And Infernal Soul for Humble Life Esports, so
yeah,
a big one, Jin 4th shot. I'm kind of waiting for these things to see how much damage it does.
Well, that rocket didn't actually connect. Deadly Flourish comes down, and now we've got curtains. Jiwoo tanking a couple of them. My God, okay, yeah. A 4th bullet, if it lands onto Jiwoo, he may just die, but it's not going to come on through. Deadly Flourish also missing, and now the engages come in. Guga is just kind of accidentally dead. That is Calyx falling down as well. That big one did so much damage, as now Viper is just wandering towards them. The flash in, the Deadly Flourish, and that is going to be another one. There is the ace. They only lose Doran, and there goes the Nexus. A clean 2-0 here for Humble Life Esports. And my goodness, okay, so basically what happens? Peanut, he picks Shyvana in a series, looks terrible, but then comes back in the next one, and he's an absolute god.
Yep, it's that easy, you know. I think definitely some mistakes from Nongshim that they're going to kick themselves over. The start of the game, I think the idea was good, the execution wasn't, but, you know, this was the expected outcome.
Wow, congratulations.
Locked, yeah, and I think Humble Life Esports needed a convincing win like this, righting the ship, going, okay, it's a KT series, of course it's going to go a little bit askew.
You never know.
You never know. But they bounce back now in a situation where, you know, on the back of this, they've locked playoffs, they're going to feel more secure. With 11 wins now, 3 wins ahead of D+ and T1. That second place, it's not locked in, but it's feeling more secure. And definitely a bit of encouragement for the fans. We didn't pick Shyvana today.
Yeah.
And we got 2-0, clean 2-0, nothing to see here.
Yep, that's what they were looking for. Zeka also having, I think, a bit of a cleaner game number 2. The Ahri looked a little bit like it needed a bit of the dust rubbed off, but man, Viper's Jhin looking beautiful in this one, being able to really find some angles, and Delight was absolutely everywhere. Yeah. Honestly, I felt like it was a definite Peanut POG angle, but then as the game went on, like Delight was making the plays, this Jhin was actually useful, and I find that to be very valuable.
Look, I think VN Cast and Right Media going Jhin.
Right, got it.
No brainer. There are going to be some Savants who go Delight, because he was actually the person who moved top.
Absolutely.
To help deny
He was another jungler.
Exactly. But then the general vote will be for Peanut because of the jungle gap. So I think that's how we'll get things balanced out. Ooh. Maybe like left media will vote Doran for some reason.
Yep. Lee Chaeyoung, thank you very much, says all of the Humble Life esports fans, because, you know, she led that fan chant and then they won. And it must have been because of her.
Yeah, I mean, Viper got some slick plays.
Yeah, he looked pretty good. I think there might be votes all over the place. I don't think Zeka gets a vote. I think Doran also was just kind of a Renekton.
We'll get a vote for like Doran that we'll just not understand.
Yeah, that might. Maybe it's left media. You know?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You know,
he's like, I'm back in game number 1. I just want to vote for Doran.
I think Peanut did the masterful move of just farming the jungle. Super powerful.
All of the grubs went to Humble Life Esports. All of the dragons. I think he did jungling very good.
Yeah. But there's sort of games where your jungler just doesn't show up, and then they come out the jungle and they have 250 CS and they're an absolute monster, and also you can get all the dragons and grubs. So you're like, yeah, you know, I'm fine with that. You don't actually have to gank me.
I tell you what, it'd be so based if Delight wins it. He just had a really, really good game.
Yeah.
Well, Humble Life Esports feeling like they're back on the horse. It's feeling good.
He found Jiwoo, which, you know, that was a cute little highlight.
You know what?
No, actually, do you know what would have secured Peanut at the POG?
What?
If they killed the tier 1 tower, so his slick little...
Oh, yeah! That 1-2 punch!
If he didn't get it, I'm blaming Zek and Viper.
Yeah, it's not Peanut's fault. Peanut's still in the running. Absolutely.
Man. And that would have been a highlight. That would have been such a good highlight if he... Yeah.
Yeah.
Shame.
What can you do? Mahal, the only one that can eat these bullets. Turret is what Humble Life Esports are talking about, but I think that they're going to be looking for some wards in the
turret, just like before, you know? It's the same thing. They say turret, but they don't hit it.
No, they say turret because they know that's what they should do, but then they beeline for the kills.
Yeah.
But also, if they distract everybody else by killing the turrets, then they could get a pentakill on the enemy Nexus, which could be the way to do it.
Very mischievous.
Ooh, some Boom Boom Zeka votes, maybe?
They did do the big damage. Peanut, he's like, no, look at the damage to monsters. I need that.
Yeah, we need to actually start putting that stat in. A little bit more of these PvE stats for a lot of these players would be good, I think.
Yeah, I think, you know, many years of experience on a Peanut's belt really knows how to wrangle some of the critters.
It's about the total damage, not the damage to chain.
Why are we so selective with who the damage is being dealt to? Damage is damage.
Exactly. And honestly, damage to turrets, damage to monsters, also very valuable. But do you know who's also valuable? The gentlemen that are on the space. So let's throw it over to them to get the breakdown of this series.
Thank you very much, guys. This is Jisa for the POG interview translation. We're here joined by Peanut and Dora on the side of Hana Life Esports. They have secured a spot at the playoffs after this 2-0 victory. Peanut, Hana Life achieved 11 wins and secured a spot in the playoffs. And you guys are also tied in the second place for the POG standings with 700 points. How do you feel? I am so relieved that this was not a losing streak for us, you know, and also I'm glad that together we managed to climb up to the 700 points. Same. Happy to be able to climb up to the 700 POG points club, and today's a good day. Please give it up for Peanut and Dorian after their wonderful series. After the loss to KT, Dendi in the interview said, we were able to address our shortcomings and it was a loss but with a lot of takeaways. So what did the team learn from that match? About Shyvana, for sure. We managed to get a lot of takeaways from the Shyvana. We thought we will be able to evolve into a dragon, but she was a little bit short there. And we saw you hovering Shyvana in the series today, so a lot of fans were also yelling or maybe screaming when you hovered Shyvana. Did you have any plans to play Shyvana today? Yeah, I guess they were really hyped and excited to watch my Shyvana again, so my ears were actually hurting. I really wanted to give it a shot today, but you know, it happens. Maybe next time. I mean, I'm still very certain that Shyvana is an OP champion right now in the current patch. And then Doran. We had Kennen-Nar matchup on the top lane in game 1, which kind of requires a lot of proficiency in laning phase, which also kind of requires a lot of help from the jungler as well. Did you have any communication beforehand? So we kind of worked around the early turret dive plans, and also we managed to find the timing when the enemy jungle was far away, and we pulled up the turret dive really cleanly. The Peanut, were you the one being proactive about the dive setups? I mean, we were basically discussing it after we were loading in the game, so I think it just went as we planned. And as a result, Kennen's dominance in the lane and all over the map was very significant. So let's take a look at this replay. So he got dove by 3 different players, but Kennen and Vi together were able to buy so much time.
일단 상대가 다이브 하는 거를
Well,
피넛 선수가 빨리 눈치채고
Peanut actually kind of read it like a book. You know, he knew that they were coming for the dive, so he was rotating towards me to kind of back me up. And then after that, the rest of our teammates were able to group up as well, and we managed to turn the situation around. Yeah, Peanut, you kind of sacrificed for Kennen and then bought time for your teammates to arrive. So Kaisa was very far away from the mid lane, so we could turn it into a 3v2 fight, into us outnumbering them. Well, I wish I didn't die there actually, but still I was doing a great job of buying time for the rest of the team. And Peanut, in the second game you played Zyra. So Nongshim prioritized Ivor in both games. So was that a bit of a counter into Ivor's early pathing? I think people rather go for Ivor into Zyra, you know. But I think the matchup is about 50-50. It depends on how you actually kind of go for the early pathing and how you kind of play out the map. And I think our reaction to the early invade setup was exemplary, so we were able to play out a very smooth game. And just like you mentioned, because you were able to handle Ivor's early counter jungle attempts very well, you managed to have a very easy game after that moment. So I basically thought you have to be really reactive, you know, you don't really have to be following your plans one by one. In that game, I was pretty reactionary to what the enemies were attempting to make, so I was able to have a decent game there. And as a result, the second game was overwhelmingly in your favor. You secured all objectives, including Herald, Dragon, and Baron. How do you think this was possible? So as Peanut mentioned, our early game reaction was on point, and after that we were just small bowling really well. With this win, you guys now advanced to the playoffs, and I'm pretty sure all the Hana Life fans are very happy here. And despite the hot weather, many fans came out to support Hana Life. Do you have a message for them? Yeah, it's so hot outside today, so I really appreciate you guys coming to support us. We will keep doing our best. Yeah, I am always grateful to see so many fans coming out to support us, and I want to share this credit to the fans, you know. I think we were able to achieve this because of the support coming from you guys. Thank you so much. And this will be the end of the interview from Peanut, Doran, and back to the space. Thank you.